You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Jerry Ensminger is our guest, a retired Marine Master Sergeant, spent many years at Camp Lejeune during the 3 decades that there were toxins in the water there. His daughter died of leukemia as a result of that. And we're going to put up on the screen intermittingly the website, the Few, the Proud, the Forgotten. Please go to the website and read about this issue. It's far from over, and there's not been a real resolution to it yet. All right, so in 1997, before we went to break, I said that this federal agency, and you alluded to it, put out a report saying that the health risks, there were no health risks from the 3 decades of toxins in the water at Camp Lejeune. 12 years later, they come back, the very same agency, and rescinded that report, saying there were omissions and inaccuracies. Mm-hmm. What was your response to that? Or what is your response to that?
Well, it was because of the work of our group, the victims, who found
irrefutable evidence.
Irrefutable evidence that had not been considered by the agency when they wrote that report and issued it in 1997.
Purposefully?
Don't know. Can't say that. I wouldn't even attempt to say that, but you know, I do appreciate the fact that they stepped up to the plate and rescinded the report and owned up to their errors, because the worst contaminant, one of the worst contaminants in that water was benzene. And that was what was left out of the 1997 report.
Wasn't even mentioned that it was in the mix?
No. I mean, and as a matter of fact, ATSDR, who is now working on the water models for the Hadnot Point and Holcomb Boulevard water systems aboard the base, was under the impression, as was all of the rest of us, that a maximum of 50,000 gallons of fuel had been lost out of the main fuel farm over in the Hadnot Point, which people know as Mainside at Camp Lejeune. That was the maximum amount of fuel that had been lost out of that fuel farm over its entire history of existence, which was from 1941 to 1990.
How many people, Jerry, how many people do you think, or do you know of now, that have identified health problems that you maintain came from all of this?
Oh, Lord, I don't know.
Hundreds?
Oh.
More?
No, yeah, thousands.
That you know?
Yeah, that I've come across.
Thousands?
Thousands.
But
let me finish my thought on the fuel farm. We have just discovered documents, ATSDR, who has been working on this for nearly 20 years, has just discovered documents that have stated that as much as 1.1 million gallons of fuel had been leaked into the ground and the groundwater from the Hadnot Point fuel farm.
During that period?
During its existence. And we were under the impression, and they left everybody remain under the impression, that only as much as 50,000 gallons had been leaked.
Wow. So what are your goals? What do you want?
I want the truth. I mean, more than anything else, I want the truth. And I want these people taken care of.
That's an issue.
Yes. Because
they're not receiving health benefits for what happened, because there's denial?
There's denial. I mean, the Veterans Administration is finally starting to come on board with this thing, thanks to Senators Hagan and Burr and Congressman Brad Miller from the North Carolina's 13th District. There's been a lot of attention by those elected officials. There's some headway being made.
Can you tell our viewers, as far as the government goes, who are the heroes and who are the villains?
The heroes are some of our elected officials. There are other...
Like Burr, Hagan, they've gone to bat.
Yeah.
Representative...
Congressman Miller.
Congressman Miller. Who are the villains?
Congressman Dingell, Stupak. The villains are, all these people in the Department of Defense who are obfuscating, lying, and distorting the truth in this thing.
And it keeps going?
It keeps going, continues. It just the day before yesterday, they issued a booklet of Q&A, a question and answer booklet, that is full of obfuscations, half-truths, and lies. But one good thing about it, Don, is that now they're finally putting this stuff out publicly in writing. And they're not going to be able to wiggle out of this. I mean, when this all first started.
And there are several legal suits. Of course, you can't file a class action suit against the government, so it's done piecemeal. Is there coordinated legal effort?
Oh, yeah. These claims have to be heard under the Federal Tort Claims Act. And that's...
How many claims have been filed so far? Do you have
I don't have any idea. There's thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah. Last count I heard was that they were holding somewhere around $39 billion worth of claims.
Well, do you think that's one of the reasons, the financial liability, that all of this is trying to be swept under the rug? They're trying to minimize the liability?
Absolutely.
For this?
Absolutely. But, you know, the documents are there. We possess most of the documents. They're still holding some that they won't allow us, the public, to see.
You can't get it under the Freedom of Information Act?
They won't release them, but they have to make a decision this month.
Whether
about releasing these documents, and Congress is pushing. And you know, one of the biggest misconceptions, and this was a strategy that was employed by the Marine Corps and Department of the Navy when all this first started, was they were trying to blame that mom and pop dry cleaners for all the contamination that took place at Camp Lejeune.
Trying to minimize it and absolve them from responsibility. We're out of time, Jerry. I want to, as this issue moves forward, we'll have you back and give us an update. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Again, the website is The Few, the Proud, the Forgotten. Next week, is it a revolutionary answer to trash disposal, or is it too good to be true? We'll talk to the CEO of the new R3 Corporation next week on Byline. I'm Don Ansell. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning as we explore the issues that concern you.